How was your Fourth of July? How was your
It
Independence
was
Day?
good. It was just yard work. It's a day off. I don't really do much for it, but it's nice having a day off.
Yeah, we don't really do anything either. We just chilled. People were shooting off like the illegal fireworks out here.
Oh yeah. Um, we used to go to the desert and shoot them off, but we didn't get any this year, which is kind of weird. Usually we have a bunch of people around who have them, but not this year.
Yeah, same here. We usually hear a lot, but this year we didn't hear that much, but we did hear some.
Were you the one who said you made sloppy joes?
Yeah, we made sloppy joes. Yep, the most American thing I could think of. What can you think of? It's American.
Hot dogs and hamburgers, I guess.
Well, like hamburgers are from Hamburg, Germany.
Oh, really?
Hot dogs, though, I don't know where those are from. Probably America made them, but that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, I think, like same with pizza. People love pizza and they think they associate it with American, but that's from Italy.
A lot of stuff was kind of crap. Like it came from something they had, but then they kind of like burritos, right? Because or weren't burritos made here, even though, or were they not big in Mexico or something? Then
I don't know for sure,
or
but I know there's a lot of things that Americans love that Mexicans like are like whatever about, like
or
gorditas. Like
maybe it's
Americans
like
love gorditas.
or am I thinking of
Um,
flour tortillas? I thought there was some there. I thought there was something that wasn't really, or like fortune cookies, for example. Those were made
right.
here,
Hmm.
so those kind of things.
But when you're a kid, you don't
But
think of that. You're just like,
but
oh, it's good, American.
but American food, it's always been the melting pot. So I think I barbecue, but I'm sure every I feel like every nationality, ethnicity has their own versions of things, right? Like even like pizza, like you have flatbreads, you have other things. So everyone has their own version of some kind of vehicle, whether it's a tortilla or a bread or a bun or a flatbread or a crust. Everyone has a vehicle of some kind.
Right, right. What did you have for dinner that night or on the Independence Day?
I I couldn't even tell you.
No, just whatever.
I couldn't tell you what I had for dinner tonight.
You didn't have
I
anything
remember.
like crazy. You just like made whatever for dinner.
Yeah, yeah. I can't remember. Yeah, I have no idea.
Meatloaf. I think that's an American dish. I think that's American. Meatloaf.
Probably meatloaf and like casseroles, like things during like the 50s and 60s that were just you kind of throw them together and
Casseroles. That's a good one.
casseroles.
It's
Yeah,
a good
casseroles are
one.
good.
What else, dude? What else is American only? Hamburger, or no, hot dog. Hot dog. I think is American, right?
I'm sure it came from bratwurst, which are also from Germany, but a
You're
lot of
right. I didn't think of that. You're right. It's not American. We took
but
it
that's
from there.
but that's where you kind of go. That's where you kind of fall into like, well, everything from America's come from somewhere because we kind of just were a bunch
Right,
of
but
stuff shoved together.
is meatloaf like an offspring of something? Probably something from like the UK, huh?
I'm sure,
Right. I'm
but
gonna look it
then
up.
again, and it's really just the idea of meat mixed together with a whole bunch of things and baked. So
Right. Same with like a hamburger. It's just a bunch of stuff put between two buns, like or a sandwich.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, snap, dude. Meatloaf is from Germany and Belgium.
Hey, everything's from Germany. It seems like.
What happened? Do
Oh,
you
you
see it?
disappeared.
Dude, what the fuck just happened? I'm literally still sitting here. Oh my god, bro. It's a ghost? What the fuck is going on, bro? Dude, are you joking? I see what happened. I
Is
see
your
what happened.
camera? Oh,
It's my
okay.
camera on my phone because I plugged in my phone and to the computer and it's trying to use the camera on my phone. But that was trippy, dude. That was really trippy. Holy crap. I just disappeared. I always notice I'm sitting in the dark and it's really comfortable for me. But I took a picture of it with all the lights on and I just have the same background with all the lights on.
It works. It works though.
But no, man. Yeah. Hamburg, I'm sorry, Germany, Belgium and Germany. Meatloaf. Dude, that's crazy. Let me look up casserole.
Mm, what origin of casseroles?
Casserole origin. Greek. It's from Greek, and then it went from Greek, late Latin, old provincial, and then to French.
Well, I just out of curiosity, I looked up pizza, and it's from Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans, but it started with flatbreads.
Wow, dude.
You know,
You're right,
everything.
dude.
It's just everything's come from somewhere at one point. You know, but it is interesting because I mean, I'm sure. Did Mexico have hamburgers or hot dog or something like hamburgers or hot dogs? I don't know if there's something that's even like it.
I don't know too much about that. I mean, that's something to be interesting to look into because I'm just aware of like what I know from my experience because I grew up with Mexicans and like from Mexico. Like, and I'm American. I grew up here, but I'm a Mexican descendant. But there's stuff that like I'm grew up in Bakersfield. There's stuff up there that I would eat that I came down here to San Diego that I'm like, what's this? You know, like a lot of different stuff like mole. I didn't know what mole was until I moved to San Diego. You ever had mole?
Really? Yeah, I've had it.
I've never had mole until I moved to San Diego. Up in central Bakersfield for me and my family, that wasn't a thing. It's just
Hmm.
like different things. Like and even like menudo, I really like menudo. I've always loved menudo. I grew up with it. But like what my tias would do, they would put hominy. Have you had menudo?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like hominy, and then it's like beef stomach, cow stomach. You know,
Okay.
I forget what they call it, tripas or something, or I forget what they call it, but it's like the stomach of the cow. So it's like fatty pieces of meat, like really like gelatin, kind of like
I think it's not
um
tripe. Is
tripe,
that tripe?
tripe,
Tripe.
tripe. Maybe you're right. I don't know, but anyways, when I came down to San Diego, a lot of the spots out here they only do tripe. They don't do any hominy. And it's kind of like interesting, like, okay, that's a different way. And then someone had told me that like certain parts of Mexico will use hominy and some and most won't. I didn't know that until I moved down here. I thought all menudo was the way I had eaten it my whole life. Just stuff like that, where it's like it depends on what part of Mexico it comes from. And like some people like burritos, some people like tacos, some people don't like. Some people use a lot more beans, some people don't. You know what I mean? It's like different parts of Mexico use different things. Like in America, same thing. Even like my wife would say like she knew that like people certain people when people speak Spanish to her, like certain different dialects, she knows, oh, they're not from around here. They speak Spanish, but they're not from around this part of you know, Baja. They're from somewhere inland somewhere because they have like accents like the
Just
Texans do for
accents.
us. Like like Boston, people from Boston. You know, everyone has like people from Arkansas, people from the north, the Midwest. You know what I mean? It's like everyone has different dialects in America, but same thing with Mexico. Same thing with food.
Well, I remember probably 10 years ago, I got some CDs from the library because I wanted to learn a little bit of Spanish. So I started. This is back when I worked at Nike. So there's a few people there who spoke Spanish. So I started using those words, and they're like, "What are you saying?" And I'm like, "Well, it's telling me I'm learning Castellano." And they're like, "Oh, you're speaking like it's like Spaniard Spanish, not Mexico Spanish." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh," so I'm like learning Britain's English as opposed to our English. So if you have an English person talking to me, I'd be kind of like, "What's this word?" And so it's pretty interesting.
Same thing with with in California. That makes no sense to me. There's a lot of things like that they do where it's like there's even like if you go on Disney Plus or like a lot of streaming services now, they'd have like Spanish, like subtitles or like audio, like change the audio of the movie. They'll do like Spanish and then like Latin America Spanish, which is around like what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
there's two different kinds of Spanish now. Like it's like they got hip with it. But like back in the day, that was like a thing that I didn't ever understood because in the like me growing up in the public school systems, that's what we would learn. We would learn all that shit. Like there's a word called coger, Chocher, and coger means to fuck
Okay.
in Spanish, but it came from a word called to grab in Spain. So
Okay.
in Spain, they say coger, like, can you hand that to me? Or I'm gonna grab this, right? But if you say that in Mexico, that means you're gonna like, I want to fuck this. Like I want to fuck, you know? So which is like a fucked up like mix of like it turned into that when it
Yeah.
came to Mexico or whatever. But it's like a real thing. There's a lot of words like that. There's a lot of words that don't exist. There's a lot of words you're not saying right. You know what I mean? They say it differently. So it's that whole thing where it's like, yeah, I don't know why the American school system taught you Spanish from Spain. It was like I didn't get it, especially in California. That's really like unuseful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess it goes to show you who's running the stuff, you know.
Or yeah, like how much they're thinking into it because they don't care or they don't care.
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, thanks. But
yeah, food. It's fair food.
it's changed. I used to say sushi, but now if I eat now, it's not so much. So once starting like last year, I used to always just say sushi. Like whenever I say sushi, but now I'm like, I'll have it once every couple of weeks, but now it's not my favorite. Now I don't know if I have a favorite now.
But sushi is so broad. Like what kind of sushi specifically? Like what's the what's
I'm
the
pretty
like it satisfies you. Like that I gotta get it. Like there's no way I
I
can't get this.
I have a an interesting mix of overeating and being cheap. So I like the cheap stuff that I can get a lot of. So that usually is like California rolls.
Gotcha.
But
Like
if money isn't an option or it doesn't matter, then I'd go like I like Las Vegas rolls. Those are deep fried. Man, those are
I've
good.
never
But I
had
can't.
that.
You can't have a lot of it because it'll get you sick. But for a few pieces, it's pretty darn good.
Really?
But pretty much any roll, honestly, any roll is really good.
Okay.
But yeah, nowadays I can't really say what. But what about you?
My favorite food. I kind of like you. I would say pizza a lot. Like that was my go-to pizza. Like I
Mm.
just love pizza. I can eat pizza any time of day. I love pizza, but I have to change it up. Like I can't eat the same pizza over and over again. Like if I eat too much of the Costco pizza, I'm like done. Like I get like sick of it, so I
Mm-hmm.
have to change to another pizza. Like you know what I mean? Like but I feel like lately I haven't been eating too much pizza. I've been eating a lot of chicken lately, like chicken wings, shit, shit like that. I like chicken wings a lot too. And depends because like some places like have like really bad chicken wings or like they're really small, but I like the places that have like the real big, thick ones, like the ones that have a lot of meat on them. And then depending on like where you go, like for example, have you ever been to Woodstock's Pizza?
Yes.
They have like we just ordered some the other night, just wings. We didn't order any pizza, we just ordered wings, like the large version, the large box. Their wings are
Oh.
very delicious. They're like they almost fall off the bone. They're like and like whatever style you order. I like their lemon pepper and I like their spicy buffalo. I usually order like half and half of a large box of half and half, and they're really good. And then my wife will order a salad and try have a couple of the wings, but mainly I just like devour those wings, dude. Like chicken wings are delicious.
You know the weird thing is I've heard people eat the chicken bones.
Uh-uh.
I swear, if you Google it, there are people who eat chicken bones, like they'll eat the
Well,
entire thing.
you've heard it. You haven't seen anybody do it. That stuff's
I've
bad.
heard it from people who've done it, like of what, but on TV or whatever. But I was like, that's not true. So I Googled it, and people really do eat the bones, and
Why?
it's I don't know,
You
but
want to
it
be
seems like
wasteful?
it would be well, it would have to mess up your insides.
Yeah, there's a lot of
But
bad things that can happen from doing that. A lot,
I would imagine,
and it's not necessary
but
because there's nothing in it. There's no nutrition in it. Like, what's the point
no,
of it?
or they kind of gnaw them like a dog gnaws on a bone. But still, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting people do that. Probably not a lot of people, but people do it.
Is there nutrition in bones? Do you eat bones? Probably there is. I'm not thinking, but I never thought of that. Maybe there is a benefit of eating bones. I don't fucking know. That sounds disgusting, though. I'm
it's
good on that. But
probably something just to gnaw.
one of the things I am, are you know how like you've seen those like things on like social media where they show a graph of who are you, like which chicken wing eating person are you, and they show you like some like one like the number one is like it's like a graph, or like number one is like a lot of meat on the bone, like one bite's been taken out of it. Number two is
Oh
like a little
no,
bit more, and then like the last number five or whatever is like all the bone is picked clean. Which one are you?
no.
From one to five, what would you be?
It has to be pig clean. If it wasn't pig clean, my dad would get mad at me.
So
Because
you are a five.
with
That's a question. That's a
with
question of the day.
with ribs and anything with a bone, if I didn't eat enough of it, my dad would come by. Like I would be like 12 or 13, and he'd come by and be like, "Hey, there's still meat on those. You aren't getting any more until you eat the rest of these." I'm like,
Oh,
I'm
so
like,
that was
no,
the thing.
it's true. You can't waste it. If there's good meat on there, you better be eating it.
That was the thing in your household. You had to pick it clean.
Yeah, if
That's
you're gonna eat it,
interesting.
then get the yeah.
I never had that
So
from my dad, but I was always that guy for some reason. Like I didn't feel comfortable unless I had completed the mission. You know what I mean? And it kind of irks me when I see people do like leave a lot of meat on the bone. Like, oh, I used to date a girl who used to do that, and it was like,
no,
oh, it would hurt me.
I appreciate it now because I, as a kid, at least as a kid, you're kind of like you think you're done with it, but there's still more. But anyway, that's something that I was like, okay, now I got that instilled in me. Like, no, you eat everything. You're not
Right.
wasting any of that. So
And
yeah,
that's the thing.
if I see an
Go ahead.
adult leave some meat, I'm gonna be like, hey, you gonna finish that or what?
Oh wow. No, I couldn't for some reason I never had the courage or the guts to like tell her I'll finish it for you. I just felt like disgusted that she couldn't eat it. I didn't want to eat it after her. It was just even though it was like a waste, I just was like disgusted about it.
Oh yeah,
But
don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say anything either. But
yeah, I
I'd
did
think
finish
I
it.
would think it, but I wouldn't see it.
No, yeah, same. I didn't say anything. I would look at it like, ugh, fuck, these
I would
people are
judge. I
weird.
would judge though. Yeah.
Yes. So okay, so chicken. That's the kind of chicken wing. Brent's number five. Brent's a uh, chicken wing cleaner. And
Now,
what do you prefer, flats or drumsticks, or do you care?
when you say flats, you mean like the wings?
Yeah, the chicken wings. Do you like use? Do you prefer the drumsticks or the flats? Like they call them the flats, like the ones that are like
Oh,
what I'm talking about.
yeah. I'm assuming it's the wings, right? Because you usually get wings or legs, right, or
Right,
drumsticks.
right. So yeah, they call them flat.
So,
Like I used to go work at a pizza place where they call them flats. So
definitely
maybe I'm not.
drumsticks.
Yeah,
I mean,
same.
to be honest, I don't like eating off the bone. Most things off the bone, but every now and then I'll crave ribs. But even though I don't like eating off the bone anyway. But between the two, between surf and turf, I like surf. I like fish more than
Really?
meat. Yeah,
What specifically?
just any kind of fish. I went to I went to a steakhouse once years ago, and they had halibut, and I did not feel like steak because I'm not usually in the mood for steak, and it was so good. I think it was halibut, sea bass or halibut, something like that. It was fancy, whatever it was, and it was good.
Was it huge? Making it sound like it's huge.
It was about the size of a steak, like a maybe what 8 ounces at the average steak. So that was really good. But
Wow,
yeah, I definitely like seafood much more than meat.
wow. And
But I
what about
don't.
shrimp,
I like shrimp.
crawfish, and all that shit?
There is a limit. There's a limit because I when I was a kid, I never cared. When I was I get older, I don't like things like crawfish usually have the head on it. I don't want to eat something that has its head on it still. Even shrimp is like a little too much body almost. I like a fillet of fish. I could just like, okay, it's a fillet of fish, or like a steak is like, all right, it's a steak. I don't want to see a head. I don't want to see legs. I don't want to see. I'm like, I'm good.
But it's there to remind you.
It's like to remind me of what I want
To
to
remind
be
you that
reminded of
where this meat comes from. Because I think people
it.
forget and they don't care. And I think that's what it is. Like if we saw them, like I really do feel that way. Like if we saw people make like if we had to make our own food and like slaughter these cows and slaughter these fish and stuff, I really feel like a lot of us wouldn't do it. We would like do it every once in a while. We wouldn't do it as much. Like people like consume so much meat during a month. I bet you if they had to go hunt that meat, they couldn't do it. They wouldn't do it because it's hard. It's really hard, and it's some people like are desensitive are sensitive to it.
Well, we as a society are way too far past. Like we couldn't function if we all had to hunt our own food now. Like we need
I
a
think some of us could if we had to, but a lot of us would have to depend on those people to help us. Like there'd be groups of
yeah.
people who like there were the hunters and the gatherers. You know what I mean? And that's how it would be. But I think a lot of people because of that wouldn't eat meat. I feel like maybe I'm wrong.
It would just be it would be on a how desperate are you? Like I have 2 goats or 3 goats now. I would never want to eat them, but hey, if it came down to we got to eat, then
Right.
sorry goats, sorry chickens, you're
Exactly.
first to go.
Exactly.
So you could have that mindset of, well, I don't want to, but if it was like life or death, then sorry.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I think as a society we can do. I mean, yeah, there are people who could do it, but I don't think it would be enough to sustain society. You know what I mean?
Maybe not. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Now, when
Yeah.
you
You
think
never
of it,
know. You never know.
we have a lot of farmers. We have a lot, so we would be fine. I mean, if you ever see how much um, corn and produce farmers throw away in order to keep our prices within range, then we over farm so much, so we really are pretty well sustained.
Right. Wow. So sushi and seafood. Nice. That's your jam. What about like worst foods? Like can't touch it, won't touch it. Is there anything that Brent won't touch?
Fermented kimchi is disgusting.
Kimchi.
Kombucha is okay. I could drink it if I have to, but kimchi is gross. That fermented is disgusting.
Kimchi. We just got some in the refrigerator section.
Oh, again? We had it before, but we didn't sell it, so we got rid of it. So we
Oh,
got
maybe
it
that
in
was it.
again.
Maybe that I thought it was it. I thought that it was still there. Maybe that was it.
Maybe it's still there, but I thought we were like, yeah, we're not selling this. It's like no one's buying it. No one in Santee is gonna get. No, that's not true. I don't know. Maybe we still have it, but I don't think we do. I
Yeah,
think we have
sure.
I think we have sauerkraut, but I can't really do that either.
Right.
It's like that
That's
vinegar. Is it vinegar? Is what if I taste that is? I cannot get past it.
sauerkraut. I don't, it's coleslaw, sauerkraut. I don't even know. I'm confusing with. I like sauerkraut. I think it is vinegar. You're right. I think it is vinegar. I think a
But
coleslaw.
soy
No,
like
sauerkraut.
but soy sauce is fermented, and I love soy sauce. But
Really
I don't know what the difference is, but yeah, that's good.
interesting.
I
You don't like sauerkraut.
no.
Well, like pickles.
I like pickles.
Okay, because it's kind of. I feel like it's kind of like that. Like it's kind of
So
like
yeah,
pickled,
you're right.
like
Pickling has
pickled.
vinegar, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not the
So it's like
vinegar.
it's like pickled salad or some shit.
So I'm not sure what makes the fermentation in kimchi and that kind of stuff. But whatever that is, no thanks.
Interesting. Interesting. Have you ever been anywhere crazy, like traveled anywhere crazy and had like their food? Like Boston. Like Boston's famous
No,
for like
no. The most I went to Australia when I was like 12 or 13, and I had some kangaroo and crocodile jerky. But that's like the most crazy thing I've had. But that's not that crazy. It just kind of tastes like beef jerky. But yeah, I haven't really been to many other states, at least to eat like anything crazy.
right. And is there anything you want to eat? Like bucket list type thing before you die?
I'm sure there would be.
Like pizza from Italy or like
Yeah,
cheese from Greece or
pretty
yeah,
much, pretty much
Greece.
any place I can get authentic any kind of food from. Like when I was in Mexico City and like the tacos there, like I'm really happy I had like authentic tacos to see how good they are, and they are really good.
Oh yeah, I heard Mexico
But
City. I never been there, but I heard they have really good fucking tacos and food there in general.
oh yeah, and
Like the hub.
really good food there. But yeah, if I would, if I was in Italy, I'd really want to have pizza there. If I went to, yeah, any place, I'd want to have the authentic food. It would be nice to do that.
But there's nothing like you like. I want to go there. Like on the top of your head, like I need to go there to try this. Like I
Not
remember, I remember,
really.
I remember Mindy from work. I remember Mindy. She used to work there in
Yeah.
Vegas. She was telling me how she had went to Greece. She went to this trip to Greece. She was telling everybody about it. She was all excited, and how she like went and ate like real feta cheese, and
Oh,
it was nothing like it was here. And I was like, really? She's like trying to explain. It's more soft, and I forget how she explained it. But I was like, oh, that's interesting. And she's like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that was like just culture shock to her, like that she didn't know.
So your sound is working, but your mic froze. Oh yeah, no, I'm
Okay.
sorry, not your mic, your camera froze. So maybe
You
it's my.
froze
Oh wait,
too. You
it's
froze as
back.
well. Yeah, it's back now, but yours
Okay,
froze
it's
as
back to
well.
normal. Maybe it was me. I don't know whose it was, but anyway, it was working now. But you know what? Now you mentioned that, I would really like to go to. You know what? Now you mention it, okay, I will say Italy for their dried meats, like stuff we have in our deli section, but like why can't like prosciutto, like get like really legit
Yeah, yeah, I
prosciutto.
know what you mean. Yeah.
Go to France to have. I like cheese. I'm a big fan of cheese. So I found a website I'm gonna order some from Italy because I'm like I really or France, one of the two. I think they both have cheeses, but I really would like to have authentic cheese.
Wow, you're a cheese guy.
Yeah,
Like, what's your favorite cheese?
probably blue. There's too many.
Like
I like
chunky blue cheese or like creamy blue cheese?
blue cheese. Well, either
Okay.
the Dubliner cheese, the Ireland one, and that we have in 19. That's one of my favorites. But yeah, cheese is good.
You know,
Pretty much any kind.
Woodstock's Pizza has really good blue cheese. I don't know if they make it themselves or they buy like a bottle. I don't know what brand it is, but whatever the fuck that they're doing, they have. I mean, to me, Woodstock's has delicious blue cheese. It's different. It's very different than any other blue cheese I've ever had. It's like very, very,
Mm.
very, very good flavor. Just FYI,
Have you
Woodstock's
ever
Pizza.
been to Have you ever been to Pyology?
No, but I know what you're talking about. I've seen it many times.
I might maybe I've told you about it, but it's just a pizza place that you order everything, like all the toppings you want, and they just bake it there. And yeah, I got one with like four different kinds. I got goat cheese is really good, but goat cheese, blue cheese, anyway, some other kind of cheeses, but yeah, it was really good.
Damn, it sounds delicious.
It
Cheese
was.
pizzas, like four cheese pizza.
It messes me up, but every now and then it's worth it.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Sometimes, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Wow. Okay. So you're a cheese guy. That's cool. Yeah. We went to Paris, France. My wife and I many years ago, and her thing was the macaroons,
Ooh.
and she went to this. Like, she researched it. She found like like the best macaroon in the city according to her research. And we went to this place. There was like a line out the door. We walked through it and it was okay. Like I didn't. I'm not a macaroon guy, but I was like, okay, it's good. It was good. And then she was like, "Oh, it's delicious." I'm like I don't remember. I think it was my first time eating a macaroon, right? And then I come back, and then you know how like Costco sells those macaroons packs.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
bought one time, and we both snacked on it, and I get it now. I fucking get it now. They don't taste like the ones that we had over there. Like
No,
they're garbage compared to what we had over there. They're fucking garbage. And I'm like, damn, I had a real macaroon. I didn't even know. I had like the real deal. I didn't even know until I compared it with another one.
I'd be curious if you went to. There's a place in. I think it's UTC, the mall. I think it's UTC. Is that what it's
Okay.
called?
Yeah.
And they have a little
Yeah,
kiosk
UTC.
there, and they only sell macaroons, and they're like freshly made and all that. And I had them once, and they're really good. I doubt they're Paris good, but I mean, I don't know.
Well, I'm on the search to find something comparable because the ones at Costco are not it. Like I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but those ones are not it. So maybe there is something more authentic out there. It's San Diego or somewhere, but the Costco ones are not it. Like, and it's crazy that I know what a real macaroon tastes like now, or at least the ones that I'm comparing it to now is like the one from there.
In my opinion, anything frozen or refrigerated to preserve it is not going to be, no matter what it is, it's not going to be as
And you
good.
know what? You said that the wait place you go to, they make it fresh.
As far as I know, they did, but I have to. I mean, I it was years ago and I had it, but I do know that it was better than the ones we sold in the cooler section. That's for sure.
The cooler section. Do you know the name of the place?
No, but I could probably find it really quick. Let me see.
Because my wife would go crazy.
There's probably only one. Let's see. UTC San Diego
Macaroon.
macaroon. I didn't even spell mac. Oh, La Macaron French Pastries, La Jolla Village Drive.
You gotta
Westfield.
screenshot that. Send it to me if you can, because I'm gonna forget. Or you know what? We just recorded it on conversation. I can go back and listen to it.
3.5 stars, so not very good reviews. Keep in mind, I haven't had this for a few years, but
Hey
it
man,
might
it's
be,
just a
might be.
recommendation. We're not gonna hold you. Not gonna hold you to it, but we're definitely. I'm gonna let you know too if it's trash or not. But I'm not
Let's
gonna
see.
hold you to it.
Let's see. Message. I'm gonna send to you right now.
Sweet.
And yeah, my standards for food are usually pretty low.
Is it? Oh, okay.
I don't
Hey,
I don't need the fanciest stuff. As long as it tastes pretty darn good, then I'm happy about it.
you're good, bro. You are good. No worries. But yeah, that's crazy. I forgot that you're a foodie. So that was like a whole hour of conversation right there. I was like, I didn't think about it until I forgot how we stumbled into it. And I'm like, yes, yes, you're a foodie.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I can't think of anything to talk about, but it's like what once you start going, it's like all right, we could figure things out as we go.
But now I have all these questions about food for you now. Like I have now want to compare stuff. So like taco or burrito.
Burrito, sushi burrito. I'm gonna go one step farther. I've had that once and it was amazing.
What the fuck is that?
It's just a giant burrito, but it's just like a sushi roll,
But
and
it's
you
like,
you bite into it like a burrito.
but
It
my
was
first thought, what when you said that was like a bunch of different sushi types in mixed into one burrito, or is it all the same stuff?
it's just all the same stuff. It's just
So it's
one
just a big
giant.
sushi roll.
Yeah, pretty much is what it is.
Gotcha. Okay, okay. Because that was confusing
Um,
at first. Like what?
I had it at SDSU. One time they had a whole bunch of like restaurants in their quad area, and that was one of them. And I was like, oh, I'm getting that. It was amazing.
Where?
It was at SDSU.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they just had a day where they had a whole bunch of that stuff, like from like different places around San Diego would come over, and yeah.
Okay, hamburger, hot dog,
Mm, yeah, I'll go hot dog. I like hot dogs.
hot dog. Oh wow, hot dog or bratwurst.
A hot dog.
Okay.
Bratwurst are okay, but hot dog.
What about pizza or like pasta, like Alfredo pasta?
Ooh. Well, that's hard. If it's angel hair, then I want the angel hair pasta.
You don't
Otherwise,
like the angel hair.
I love angel hair pasta, but with Alfredo. No, I don't like red sauce, but I like Alfredo.
You like Alfredo better than red sauce.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of red sauce.
Wow.
I'll eat it, but I mean,
What if it was like an Alfredo pizza? Did you go crazy?
oh yeah, I've had not Alfredo pizza, but they have pizza with the white sauce. Like I'm like,
Right.
is it margarita? They have pizza like that. That's what I usually go for.
Well, I used to work at Pizza Hut, and you could choose that white sauce, and
Yeah.
it's called I forget what the fuck it's called, or you could choose Alfredo.
Oh,
It's
really? I
like
get
it was at
maybe I've never
Pizza
had
Hut.
Alfredo
I
then.
believe at Pizza Hut you have a choice, so you could pick that. If you look on the website,
Hmm.
which is crazy. It's really good. But I mean, I like red sauce. I love red sauce. That's like my thing. I love when it comes to I don't like pesto at all. Like I hate pesto. My wife loves pesto. Are you into pesto?
I don't think I like pesto either.
Yeah, I don't like pesto. It's just too like not spicy, but it just has that like a stinging flavor I can't stand.
What about you? Would you rather are you surf or turf?
Shit, dude. Depends on what surf, honestly. Like,
Let's
no,
go.
depends on what surf I mean. Because I'm not a crawfish guy. I'm not really I like shrimp, but I'm not like I wouldn't if it was shrimp versus a steak, steak. But if it was like a lobster versus a steak, even then maybe a steak because lobster doesn't have that much meat on it. It's a lot of work, and I don't like working for my food. I'd rather just order it and give it to me.
I agree with that.
So maybe steak because like lobster's great, but like what's having remember they used to do that thing at Costco where they would do like the road show or like the seafood event
Yeah.
and like they would sell the crab, like the whole crab. I used to
Yes.
buy those and I learned how to like season them and then like boil them like with beer or like do crazy recipes and shit. and it was delicious. But to get in there and get that meat, it's like you're sitting there cracking all night,
Yeah.
and it's rough. Even though it's delicious and it's a lot of it's if you once you're done, you're full, you're fulfilled, but it's just not like my jam. But if it was like you said, like if I ordered a halibut, you said it was a halibut.
I don't know if it was halibut or sea bass. It could have even been swordfish, but whatever it was
But
on
if
par
they
with a
brought it
steak.
out and it was thick, if it was a thick piece of fish, I would be excited. Like hell fucking yeah.
It was thick, and I'm telling you, it was like butter. It was
And
just like
that's my thing.
smooth. It
Like
was
that
so
sounds
good.
so delicious. I would take that over a steak right now. Like where I'm at right now. Even though I really do like steak. But one of the things that I don't like about steak is that they always fuck up my order. And I'm not that guy to be like send it back, you know? Even though I should eventually, but like they always like I like it medium, and they always fucking well done it. Like not even like try,
No,
not even try. I'm like, okay, fuck it, I'll eat it.
no, that's terrible.
Have happened many times, and it's like I'm not that guy. Even though I need to start being that guy, probably. I need to be that guy.
Well, it's a crime. I mean,
I
well
mean,
done is a crime.
especially, thank you, because I used to eat well done growing up, but now it's like, dude, you can't. There's no flavor. There's no fucking flavor.
Well done. If you're paying $40, I guess I don't know. Maybe it's not exaggerating. If I'm paying $40 for a steak and it's a well done steak, I may as well go to Applebee's, or I may as well go to like why it's just like there's nothing. It's like eating a shoe at that point.
Right. But I think that some people like that. Some people, I mean, there's people that really do enjoy eating a shoe or have that.
Eating a shoe.
I mean, they enjoy it, but I know, and I used to be one of those people. I enjoyed my steaks well done for many years until one day I just tried. It was so disgusting to me to see blood. But one day I ordered a medium. At first I started medium well, and then I just went to medium. And I don't think I can ever go to rare, but there's a lot of flavor. There's a lot of flavor with when there's blood, when the blood's there, and people don't realize that. I don't think. But maybe it's one of those things we are talking about before. Like they don't want to see kind of like that's to some people the blood, the red is the which represents the blood is like for you talking about seeing the head on something. It's like it reminds you of that, of where it comes from. And I think that's the problem with people. And if they well done it, it's not in their head. They're just enjoying their shoe and then on with their lives. You know what I
Oh
mean?
my gosh.
I mean, I'm full circling this conversation. I think that's really the reason why subconsciously people want well done because they don't want to be reminded that this comes from an animal that has been slaughtered.
Man, but
And
if you're gonna slaughter it, at least have it taste good, That's all I'm saying.
good point.
Otherwise it's just an insult at that point.
Great fucking point. I agree with you tenfold.
But you know what? Since we were talking, I can now say what my favorite food is because I
Okay.
was now gonna think about it's gonna be scallops. I love scallops.
Scallops?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like we sell them at Costco. They're like the white circles. They're well not they're not that big, but um the they're gosh, what is hang on. I'm trying to even think what let me see. They're like the big old with the shells that chomp. They don't
Oh,
really
like a
chomp, but
clamshell? Like a clamshell?
yeah. I'm trying to find one without when they're still in the shell, but you know what? Like when they open and they have a pearl sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why I was going to show you on camera, but
I'm looking it up right now.
okay.
What do you just type in scallops in Google?
Yeah. You'll know what I'm talking
Which
about.
image? Okay. Oh, okay. So yeah, I'll put it on the screen if I can.
But those are my favorite. They're pretty expensive, but I haven't had them in a long time. I'm going to get some. Now we're talking
Scallops?
about, yeah,
I've never had them, I don't think.
you're missing out.
I mean, where do they have good scallops?
The ones at Costco, I haven't had them for probably over a year, but the ones at Costco are usually pretty good.
Okay. Interesting. Scallops. Because I always hear scallops and potatoes.
Well, like scalloped potatoes are
Oh, scalloped potatoes a different thing.
yeah, I assume they call them that because they're are they shaped like scallops? I guess they're circle. They're like small circles, so they look like scallops, and they're white like the scallop
Fuck,
is.
bro. So I've never had scallops. So I've always had scalloped potatoes. I
No,
had mad scalloped
scallops.
potatoes.
You're.
I mean, definitely missing out.
I think you would love it. I think you would love them. You literally, it's um like I think I mean I have to research. I have to look it up again, but I think it's like as low as like 30 seconds per side, and they're done. Like you go, they cook really quick, or maybe a minute per side. But I have to look up. But yeah, very easy to cook, and they're pretty smooth as butter too when you do it right.
Okay.
Really good.
Okay. That's interesting. Very interesting. You're teaching me a lot about
I'll
food.
if we have them still, I think we have some. I'll show them to you.
Definitely. You gotta show me because I'm gonna get some. You show them to me, I'm gonna buy them. Buy them.
And when you
Make
mentioned
them for dinner.
the old Seafood Roadshow, I don't know if we still have them, but we used to sell lobster bits, and it was literally just little like circles of lobster in a frozen bag, and you would just cook it, and you wouldn't have any shells or anything. It was just straight lobster. That was good too.
Whoa.
I need to see if we have those. I haven't checked for that in years.
No, I mean, maybe, but we don't have that roadshow anymore, or that
No,
event anymore because of COVID. From what I heard, we stopped
but
doing it.
they didn't make it there. Like we just got it shipped to us, and we sold it in a pre-sealed bag.
Oh,
So if we have it, it would just be in the frozen stuff. I'm gonna have to check it out. Hmm.
wow. Yeah, because it sounds delicious. You can do like stews and stuff with that, like crazy things with that. You can like
Yeah.
stuff stuff with lobster.
It's too bad we stopped doing it, but they said it was because COVID we shut down. Then they saw that we sold just as much without it, so they're like, well, why even bother bringing it back? Then we sold our ice machine, which I wish we didn't do, but whatever. Not like you need it anymore anyway.
What are they using it for that
The I
roadshow or for
it was
that
that.
event?
Do you remember that big old ice machine we had in the back?
Right, 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 right.
So yeah,
I get it.
they would use it for that, and for the demos, we'd sometimes use it too. But yeah,
Oh, that's crazy.
yeah.
Damn. Yeah, those are the days, man. That's one of those things that we're gonna do when we get older. Remember when we used to have that, and now it's like not a thing
I
anymore.
already do it. I'm like, yeah, I'm already thinking about that stuff. Dude, all these people having kids and all this stuff. I'm like, dude, when I first started, we were all like little like, just young whatever year olds, and now everyone's having kids and stuff. I'm like, dude, this is crazy to me.
Hmm.
And it's probably because, yeah, I don't know, but I see everyone getting older, and I'm just like, man, I feel like I'm like regressing over here, and everyone's like progressing everywhere else.
No, man.
But whatever.
You just gotta keep doing what you love, man. And just keep
Yeah,
rocking and rolling. Um, keep being a foodie.
I don't consider myself a foodie. I think a foodie is a lot more able to. They seek out things. I don't seek out things. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm not like I feel like a foodie is someone who knows a bunch of places or wants to go to. Oh, I need to go here, here, here because they have this. I'm not. I don't consider myself a foodie. I don't have the standards of a foodie. My standards are, for the most part, the only thing I could think of that I'm judgmental about is well done steak. That's really the only thing I could think of that I'm like I would judge someone on. Other than that, I don't really care.
Only on what people who have well done steaks. What would you say to them if you could say something to
I
people
would just say I'm just saying it's a waste. I'm just that's all I'm saying.
That's so awesome. Wow.
And do I really care? No, but at the same
Right.
time, it's
No, I
like,
get it.
come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, I get you. It's just
Yeah.
funny. It's funny. It's like this thing we do at work. You ever seen Avatar: The Last Airbender? cartoon.
Okay, the cartoon. I was gonna say I've seen the terrible movie, but I've seen the cartoon.
The
Yes.
cartoon is what I mean. Yeah. So like, I mean, I was asking people at work, like, what if you could be any bender, like water, air, earth, or fire, which bender would you choose? And obviously, I always go towards the evil. I said fire. Oh, and Ian, Ian, the forklift driver,
Yes.
he said earth, and we all just laughed. Like apparently that's not the one to pick.
Why not? Earth is awesome. That Earth is what I would pick.
We were around a bunch of people and they all laughed and they made it like a bad thing and it was just funny and we were all now it's a joke where it's like why would you pick Earthbender? Like you're such a loser,
You're surrounded by Earth.
But like
Everything is
out of
Earth.
being a fire or an airbender, that's like or waterbender, that's like the coolest. When would you want
Water.
to twist water?
Okay, I guess if you were to think of it realistically, our bodies are made of water. So if you were a waterbender, you would have control over everybody.
I think it was just an Ian thing. Anything Ian says, it was everyone judged him like, nah, it was funny. It was just funny.
And then
and he embraces it.
And then the terrible Avatar movie, you had well, I guess it happened in the cartoon too, but you have the Earth Nation. If anyone could stop the Fire Nation, it would be the Earth Nation because Earth doesn't get affected by fire. You just build a little dirt around you and you're not going to get burnt. So it's like, come on, you guys, figure it out.
Well, all of them, like water could take out fire, air could take out fire. They all could. But fire is just they're I don't know, and it's a story anyway. Like they made the fire be like the evil, like fires equals evil.
It was a personality, and I really liked the Uncle Iroh.
Yeah,
right, Iroh, that's his name. Yeah,
Miko.
Was that the kid's name? Zuko.
Zuko
was the kid. Was a kid, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up right now.
But
Iroh is someone else.
So I think they're all they all went by
uncle. The uncle was
Uncle Iroh, yeah.
Legit.
I think it's Iroh.
Fucking legit.
But they all made it with personalities, which is what I think made it good, was that it wasn't like, fire was evil, but it's also because they're hot tempered. But when you're able to temper it, like Zuko eventually learns how to do. But that I still remember the fight scene between Zuko and I think it was a sister, right? Was it a sister?
Yes. Oh yes. His evil
that
sister.
She was such evil. That was such a good
yeah, she was.
Fight scene.
That was a really good. Yeah, even like at the end, I think that's what it was. I think it was her when he fights her. He at that point learns the other elements because he's friends with like I thought that was so great about the story. He unknowingly became I think I don't know if I forgot if it was a thing or if it was just like an unknowing thing. He was the one who taught Aang the firebending.
Oh, right, yeah.
And it was, I don't know if it was unintentional or if it was intentional, because he needed to learn every single element before he was able to accomplish his goals. And that was his goal to learn every single and he met I forget the girl's name, the blind girl who's the earthbender, but she taught Aang. She was the earth element. Kara or Ara, I forget her name, was the water element, and then Zuko became the fire element. Like where he learned those elements from, and that was like a really good story considering the beginning. Zuko was the antagonist basically. He was the one going after Aang, the last Airbender, which was crazy, and then it flipped to a whole fucking family drama with Zuko, and then it turned into like he flipped it, ended up joining Aang. It was really good.
Well, it was like how we were talking the other day, where it's like, and that's kind of what his story was, where it just takes one person to change the generational thing, because he had generation the same thing, and then you have Zuko in this case, who was going to go down the same path, but there was, in his case, it was Iroh who pushed him and said, you could actually go this way if you want. That isn't total conquering and destruction. And eventually he learns from that. And then that's all it takes is one of the kids to alter all of that,
Mm-hmm.
So it was a good story. And then did you ever watch Legend of Korra, right?
I never saw that. I never saw it. But I think I saw the
Well,
first couple episodes, but I never like finished it.
I won't. I don't care if you care about spoilers or not. But
I don't.
you don't. I didn't, as far as I know, I didn't have any issues with it except one major thing that made me not like it. So, do you know in the in Avatar, he's a reincarnation. So all of his reincarnations are within him, and there was times when he could go back and kind of talk and learn from them. Well, in Legend of Korra, she gets totally cut off from all reincarnations, and that
Right.
is, and to me, I'm like, well, that's what made the Avatar. The Avatar was the reincarnation, and you kind of learn from your pasts, and so anyway, when they took that out, I was like, there's no way you're going to totally take it out, right? And then, but they totally take it out.
Well, why? Was there a reason in the story why they did that, or just they didn't mention it?
There was she loses her connection to, I can't remember exactly because it was years ago, but loses her connection to them in some way, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with them doing that, but I just, for me, it was such a big part to have, because there are times that you would see Aang, or you would see the other reincarnations that you saw in the original Avatar, and so when you lose them completely, I'm like, oh come on, like you can't lose them all. So anyway. So I didn't like that part.
Right.
But to be fair, I don't really remember much of it anyway. And they are going to
Yeah.
make, I think they're
It's coming
making
out.
another movie,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I was looking at it right now. It's a live action. It's a live action animated series.
Live action scary to me because they do so many
It's
live actions
Avatar: The Last
nowadays.
Airbender. It's a live action adaptation of the animated series centering on adventures of Aang and his friends who fight to save the world, defending the Fire Nation. Oh, so it's a live action series. It's live action.
It's a live action remake, or is it a continuation?
It's a remake.
I don't want a remake. Give me something new. Oh well, that's just me. That's just me complaining.
No, and I agree. No, I agree. But at the same time, I feel like the more the more they open up the story, the more flaws there become. Like Star Wars, like it just becomes this huge fucking like there's so much to Star Wars now. When back then it was like when we were kids, it was only 3 stories, and we would watch it over and over again. We got into it. We would make the lore up in our head on what happened if this happened. But now it's just so saturated. Star Wars is so saturated.
Well, it's just funny because you're right, and I remember reading somewhere that George Lucas would literally just make up character after character after character, and it was mainly just to promote toy sales. So like, this character is this character, the Boba, or what was the original, Jango Fett? Or no, a New Hope, it was already Boba Fett. So Boba Fett was just a bounty hunter. Like he didn't even have a name. It was just, he's this guy. Okay, cool. And I remember when I was like, I don't know, 5 or 6, one of my friends we were talking about that. For some reason, he was so cool. He had no lines except maybe one or two, but everyone looked at that guy. I was like, dude, who's that though? And that's why it was such kind of a big deal that some people don't get, but when you grew up with it, then you kind of get, like when they had the Mandalorian, but then you had Boba Fett come back and you have him in the series, you're like, dude, like I never thought this would happen. Like this is so, it's kind of like I'm kind of changing the topic, but like the Spider-Man, when you have all the Spider-Man in the same movie,
Right.
it's like no one would have ever thought this was going to happen. It's like, wait, this is really cool. And even up until the movie came out, I was in the theater, watching one of the first showings, and there was rumors, but it was like, all right, unless I see it, I'm not going to believe it. But when you see it, you're like, oh my God, they actually did it. Like this is the smartest thing Sony has ever done, was to let Marvel use their Spider-Man and make this movie.
Right.
But I don't even know how I got to that subtopic, but it was oh yeah, Boba Fett. But
Boba
that kind of
Fett.
stuff is such a big deal.
I understand exactly what you're saying. There are some very great moments when you expand the story of something, but at the same time, there's risk of just saturating it, making it. Because yeah, if you're into Star Wars, I'm sure there's a guy I know who's into everything. He loves all the Star Wars, everything about it. He just loves it. Can't get enough of it. Which I get that, but like there's a lot of things that they really fuck up. Like I don't know if you're ever into Metal Gear Solid. Like I was really into that, and they fucked it up. They just made so many where they just fucked it up. I don't know how you feel about Matrix, but people say that the last Matrix, even this new one that came out, they fucked it up. They just like they're just adding stuff that they don't need to add. No one cares anymore. It's just become this thing. But I'm with Avatar. My point is, Avatar is a very very good story, and I've never seen Korra, and I know it extends that story to the next Airbender, but or to the next Avatar, excuse me. But that I think I was told you, did I tell you the story? I had told someone the story recently. I think it was someone on the podcast. I told a story about how I found out about that show. This guy, it was my manager at Domino's Pizza 10 years ago. And this guy would, did I tell you the story?
I don't think so.
Everyone on the podcast would be mad because I would tell the story again. But I remember he was my manager. It was Gabriel. He was like a nerd. He was a nice guy, but he was like a nerd. He really an Avatar, the Airbender, Last Airbender. He always talk about it. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll check it out. But then one day we would always smoke weed and drink beers at his house, like after work, like at 2 in the morning. We get off, we close the store, go to his house, and we chill, we smoke and drink a little bit. And one day he's like, "We got to watch Avatar." Everyone's watching Avatar. I'm like, "Nah, dude, I'm gonna leave." I didn't want to. I was like, "I'm good. I'm good." He's like, "No, no, sit down." He made me like he didn't make me, but he was like, "You guilted me," and just come on, just try it. All right. And I swear, dude, that first episode got me. It hooked me. I'm like, I want to know more. So I went home and it was on Netflix at that time, and I just binged it. I binged it in like a week, all three books, and I was like obsessed, dude. I was fucking obsessed with this fucking thing. There's that one episode where I forget the Aang's his dog, like that he rides around, where he gets lost.
Oh
Remember
yeah.
that episode? Like a standalone episode where he gets lost and Aang's trying to find him. Dude, that episode alone is like should have won a fucking Emmy. Like that was an amazing episode. Like
Well,
it's
that was
just great writing,
if
great
that
storytelling.
if it's the one that I was thinking of, the one of my favorite standout ones was when he the one I'm thinking of is it's like I think they're in the desert and people kidnap them, and it's
That's
the
it.
first time that Aang almost loses like his temper because that's why I liked the whole monk aspect of it where you're just it's kind of like you're supposed to be like the level-headed, you're not supposed to have the anger, but he gets tested in that way, and it was actually a really cool episode because
Right,
yeah, that so I remember that one you're talking about.
right. Really good episode. Another episode that stands out. I don't know about for you, the one where um they like passing through this town and people go missing and they don't know what the fuck's going on. And Cora, not Cora. What was the girl's name? The girl in the first one. She ended up making friends with this old lady, Katara, with the old lady,
Oh,
and then the
Katara,
old
yeah,
lady ended up like was like trying to teach her like about how to do certain things. She was an airbender, a waterbender as well, and she was like teaching her
yeah.
waterbending.
Okay, I
And
think I remember it.
it turns out she was kidnapping these people, hiding them in this like underneath this mountain, and she was using waterbending for evil. She was using it to bend blood, which is water, basically, a, a water, based thing, and she would control their blood. She would blood bend people, which is like using water for evil. You know what I mean? Which is like you use fire for evil. But I thought that was such a great standout episode alone. It was great.
Well, it was interesting because that was the first I remember. I think if I remember right, it was one of the first ones where you see every element has an as an additional step that people didn't really know much about. So water had blood, the fire had the blue fire, which the sister uses, which I guess is stronger or
Water,
something like that. So she has the blue fire. The Earthbender one, she ends up being able to bend metal. Remember that? Like she ends up
oh,
going to
that's
be able to
right.
break out of the case. So every element learned like their next
Yeah,
step that they never
that
really knew
people
that they could do.
exactly.
So that was interesting.
Very interesting. I love that. I love that. The bloodbending one was really good because it basically showed you a clear cut case of using your powers for evil.
And
And
it's something, yeah,
and you saw why, because she was traumatized. Like she was fucked with as a kid, and
yeah.
she ended up kind of like you're saying breaking the cycle. She was making a cycle. She started a cycle of trauma. You know,
it's a very thin, to go back to what we're talking about, it's a very thin line between adding too much info and screwing things up, and adding more info and making things so much better. And in my opinion, a good example are the new Star Wars movies and the new Star Wars series. If I remember, if I can, I could be wrong, but I think almost every Star Wars series I've seen have added information that I think is really cool. Whereas the Star Wars movies, they're like, hey, let's remake everything that's already been made and just do it again. And you're like, why? Like, the Mandalorian, that's brand new stuff. You didn't really see Mandalorians. You never saw another Yoda, maybe in like the comic books, but never in so you're adding info. But then you'll have movies like Rogue One, where it's information that no one really thought they needed, but it was still a good movie. They still made it a good movie. And in my opinion, the Solo story, it got really bombed in reviews, but I actually kind of liked it.
Really?
I don't know if you ever saw that, but there was like
Never
one
saw
scene
it.
I didn't like. The only scene I didn't like was when he was speaking. Is Wookiees the Wookiees language Kashyyyk? The Kashyyyk's the planet they're from. But when you hear humans speak the Wookiee language, it's like, I think, as far as I understood, no one could speak the Wookiee language other than Wookiees. So when they try to make a human say it, it just sounds ridiculous. I'm like, just make it so no, human can say the Wookiee language. But other than that, it was I thought it was a good movie. And they opened up, well, I assume you still don't care about spoilers. I mean, okay, so when they opened up
No,
Darth Maul, they had Darth Maul come back at the last scene, because they were going to make a whole another series with Darth Maul, and they might still be doing it. Because in the Clone Wars series, which I've never seen, but the Clone Wars series, they bring him back, and they have
in the movies they bring him back. But in what movie?
The Solo story.
In
Han Solo.
Oh, okay.
At the very end, you see Darth Maul.
Wow,
and that was yes,
the same actor.
That I don't know. I would hope so, but I don't know. But then you also had, I think it was Emilia Clarke. Pretty sure it was Emilia Clarke. Like Game of Thrones, and she was the Terracossi, which I don't know a lot of info about it, but they were supposed to be like unarmed like martial art fighters that were supposed to be like as good as Jedi as far as like fighting goes. So they introduced things that you're like, oh, I only kind of heard about this in the past. It would be cool if they continue with that, and they might still. But the movie got really negative reviews because I think people were getting burnt out on Star Wars. So they said, all right, we're just not going to do it anymore. And I'm like, well, wait, the movie wasn't that bad. But you know what? It also I think it came out right after the Star Wars Episode 2, and that movie got bombed too. So I think people just hated Han Solo because they attached it together and said no. But so that was too bad. But I think is a movie worth watching. I actually enjoyed it.
Honey. Shut me up and shut me down.
I can't remember if I asked you. Have you seen Sopranos?
Yeah, we talked about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll try not to get into things we've already talked about then.
No, go ahead. Let's get into
No, I was going to talk about that stuff like all over again, but I feel like we
with Sopranos. What did you see in Sopranos?
Yeah. No, it was kind of the same story, but it was I think it was one of the original ones where you had someone that you weren't supposed to like, but he would work in these, or the creator would work in these small niches that you're like, oh, he's not that bad. Like he'd kill people, but he loved animals. Like he killed his, I think it was his cousin. I think it was his cousin, because he burnt down a barn with a horse in it to get the insurance money. And then in the very first episode,
why he was upset.
And in the very first episode, it was ducks. Ducks flew away, gave him a heart attack, and then he loved.
There's a part towards the end when Chris kills the dog.
Yes,
right? He does something to the dog, and I remember the girl, his girlfriend was like crying. She's like, he killed the dog, And then Tony, that everyone just like what like whatever, not whatever, but like wow. But Tony like speaks up and goes, "You had to kill a fucking innocent animal." Like
Yeah.
he gets like really upset about it. I didn't think about that. He was really into
No.
animals.
So, but that, and also, like the strip club, there was, I think it was his cousin, someone related to him was like beat up a stripper, but then he ends up beating up the guy because so you work in small things. You're like,
Oh,
okay, well, there's some good things, just enough to where he's still the villain, but he's like, okay, well, he ends up being your connection to this world, kind of like I don't know. Any main character should, you can't have someone that you just hate all the time, but you also can't have someone be good in these situations either. So, but that's what makes it interesting, and what it makes everything in a gray area.
right, definitely. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's crazy. I didn't think about it till right now. I remember Tony Soprano was very upset when those horses died, or that the barn broke down. I thought he was more mad that the guy did it. I don't know why he thought he was mad about it. I thought I didn't never had the animal connection until right now. That's why he was mad. Why the barn was burnt down. That's so crazy.
I think that's when he killed him. Yeah, when he found that out.
That's fucking crazy. But you're right. You're completely right. Damn. And that's another thing too. We talked about a lot of similarities with Sopranos, and that was the beginning of that. Like you said, beginning of all that. But yeah, Sopranos, Breaking Bad, and then Breaking Bad. One of the things I just thought about recently was, have you ever seen the last episode in a while? Breaking Bad.
Not in a while. Not in a while.
So the Gretchen and Elliot part of
Right.
Breaking Bad, the last episode, I really think that he did that. He went there just to fuck with them. He had no intention of them actually giving the money to his kids. He did that to fuck with them. Because no matter how they got rid of that money, it was going to be a problem. If they actually told the cops, if anything, it would have looked like a problem. Because they already were under hellfire. Remember the episode before? I don't know if you remember. They were under fire for being associated with Walter White. And they were on like that Pierce Morgan show, trying, or whatever that guy's name is, trying to clear their name of Walter White. Remember that? That's how he saw them. And when he visited them and left that hump of money on their fucking doorstep, basically that they're associated with him. They're in bed with him. No matter how they tell people, hey, Walter White showed up and gave us his money. It's like, what? No matter how you look at it, even if they did what they said, what he had told them, that's a risk. It's a big risk. Big fucking risk.
Well, I remember he scared him with the red dots. So
Right,
he thought he got Badger,
right.
and
but
so
then,
it was
right. But if they did it, that's a risk. It's a risk for them, huge risk. But even if they didn't do it, it's a huge risk. They're gonna think they're gonna die, or let's say they called the authorities and they really think the authorities are gonna save them. What are they gonna think? Are they gonna believe them?
Yeah.
Are people actually gonna? This is gonna be a headline. People are gonna be aware that Walter White left money for them, large amounts of money for them. Why? He's still associated with them somehow. Like maybe they are part of the drug kingpin, so they're always going to be investigated. You know what I mean? Like he did that to fuck with them. I think he didn't have.
Yeah. I think definitely it was that, and it was also the only way he could possibly maybe get money to his family. Because that was the same episode, I think, when he calls home and his son picks up and just hangs up on him. So it's either that or it literally all this work was for absolutely nothing. So it's like that's your last shot to maybe, because I'm sure his wife would figure out, oh, they're randomly giving me X amount of millions of dollars. Like that sounds weird. That's sketchy too. Like, so I'm sure she would figure it out too.
Right.
But that's that's if she didn't hang herself.
Yeah,
so remember that.
Yeah.
And I think I googled it. I think the writer just said it. There's no current confirmation on it, but man, that fits pretty well.
Yes.
But she has a
Oh,
kid.
yes.
But she has the baby. I don't know if she went with the baby, but
Dude,
maybe.
she was smoking when she was pregnant. She didn't give a fuck about that baby.
And you know what? You never saw her in Better Call Saul. You saw obviously you saw the sister come in, but you never saw Skylar,
Right.
which just kind of raises more questions of.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't make sense for I guess for it to be there anyway because it's the sister's husband, but still, you're like, she couldn't make any cameo. Like, why not? Like, give me
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
So
It's true. One thing I gotta say is um Aaron Paul, who plays Jesse Pinkman, there should be a law where he cannot play Jesse Pinkman anymore because he does not at all look like Jesse Pinkman anymore. He looks like an old man, bro. Did you see him in
yeah,
Better Call Saul?
he definitely got he grew up a little
With the
bit.
beanie and shit on, like, dude, come on, stop it, bro. You're not Jesse Pinkman, bro.
I'm able to look past it just because I want to believe, but no, you're right. You're right.
Walter White though, because I don't know how he always nails it.
Yeah, he's at the point. I think. Well, actors in general, I was going to say men, but there's plenty of women too who just kind of stop aging. All of a sudden, Paul Rudd, how old is that guy? He hasn't aged in like 30 years.
You know what?
Or Tom Cruise hasn't aged in 50 years.
They've been saying that, but I think slowly I started to see it. I'm starting to see it now. So now that we're talking about it and we're making it aware, I'm starting to see it now.
You're starting to see the cracks.
Yeah, because at first it was like, yeah, you're right, and then the more you look, the more like, oh, like I saw the new Ant-Man, and he's already, you can see it. He's getting old, dude. He's getting old, bro.
I haven't seen that one, but Jennifer Aniston, she's aging backwards. She's going.
Yeah.
There are some pictures I've seen of some actresses who legitimately you see like from 30 years ago and they look older than they do now. And I guess it could be plastic surgery. I don't know, but it's just, or maybe they just take care of themselves. I don't know what it is, but it's like, yeah.
Video games. What are you playing currently?
Diablo 4.
Along
with it seems like everyone else at Costco. It's going good.
Going? Yeah.
Going good. Yeah.
What prestige
it's fun.
level are you at?
I think I just hit 78 today. But I have a friend who's like, I think he's 95 now, but he's been running me and my other friends through some stuff. But it's just it's kind of just like a hangout kind of game. At least the way we play right now, because my high level friend just plows through things. So we just kind of hang back and just like chat, but it's fun. The next season starts on the 20th. I'll say July 20th, just because I don't know when this will come out, but July 20th. So if you want to get in, that would probably be a good time because most people are going to re-roll new people.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm gonna say I'll probably give it till the end of August. Then I'll probably start getting tired of it. But yeah, it's been a fun time though.
Diablo 4. Did you ever play any of the other ones? Diablo 3 or 2 or 1?
I got a tiny bit into 3, but I got kind of bored of it. And 2, I'm gonna say medium far in it, but this one does a good job of keeping you interested. It's basically. Have you played any Diablo games? Do you know kind of what they're about?
I played a little bit of Diablo, the original.
So you kind of know. It's just a dungeon crawler. At a certain point, it's kind of like a casino. You go through a dungeon, you work your way through. It's usually pretty difficult, and then you just hope that your gear that you want drop. So you just do it over and over again. As you do it, you level and other things happen too, but you really want certain gear to drop. And you have a certain tier. So you'll have, you have your common gear. There's purple, which is like, I don't know if it's called epic or something. I don't know what the terms are, but so you have white's common, purple, yellow, then you have orange. But then when you get to level like 50, you get like almost like a pale orange that's called ancestral or or ancestral, but then you have one above that that's unique, and unique is like the one you really want. So as you're going through these dungeons and killing the bosses, you have 8 different tiers that could drop, but within those tiers, each item has a specific stat that's also random, and then that stat is a window of certain like high and low numbers that could roll on top of that. So you're literally, it's just a casino gamble of chance on chance on chance on chance. But when you get the thing you want and it's the highest stats, you're just like, oh my god, it actually happened. So it keeps you hooked just enough to keep doing that.
Damn. And
Yeah.
so purple's the highest?
No, it's purple is your second tier. Your highest is like, it's like a pale orange color.
Oh, pale orange. Okay.
Or like the title is, the just like the name of it. That's that way when it's on the ground, oh, this is what I want to make sure I pick up, But it hooks you in.
What do you do with all the stuff that you don't want?
You salvage it, because what you can eventually do is upgrade the stuff you do want.
With the
so
salvage?
You could, yeah, and like your legendaries, which are about like I think the fourth tier up, have unique aspects on them that you can take off that gear and put on to your other gear that you might want. So you might have one that makes this, this ability that you use do this instead, or make it better, or make it, and so you, oh, I want that. I don't want the item, but I want that, and I'll take that aspect and put it onto this gear that I like, that has stats that I like. You know what I mean? So once you get to a certain level, the general consensus is like 75. 75 is kind of where you start getting to the point where you probably have everything you need figured out, but now it's just you want to get those numbers up, so it's just min-maxing, which is just, just taking like this, like the smaller numbers and trying to work your way into better. I can't. It's hard for me to describe it at that point. You're not getting any more big jumps, is what I'm trying to say. You're not going to get any more like crazy better gear. You're just going to get better gear that's a little better, but you're looking for specific stats,
Right. That sounds like a crazy ass game. It sounds like Destiny. I used to be really into Destiny. It sounds kind of like Destiny. Like
Destiny is
unique and all that shit.
Yeah, Destiny is pretty much a first-person shooter MMO. Kind of like how Warcraft is an MMO, but it's just, instead of a first-person shooter, it's just a role-playing. You're a role, which Destiny is also a role-playing game. It's just how you control your characters and stuff.
So is Diablo 4, is it first person or is it third person?
No, it's pretty much, I don't know what the direct term is for it, but it's pretty much overhead dungeon crawler.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So you're seeing your character.
Person.
No, it is you see your character, you're controlling your character, but you're more kind of overhead. So you see the area around you and you're just going through different dungeons or areas, dungeons, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, it's very comparable to Destiny 2 in the sense, it's just more of a, Destiny 2 is more a first person shooter. Or it is a first person shooter. Yeah. Other than that, it's just it's a MMORPG. I don't think you consider it MMORPG, but you go with a group of friends. You go, you just play for a couple hours. You do a dungeon or you do whatever you want, and then you just get whatever gear drops for you.
And so, like, actually, you said adventure, action adventure. What kind of a game is it? Would you call that game?
Diablo?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is class. Let me see. Let's see. What is Diablo for category? Like, what is it considered? Action role playing. I guess that's a good
So
term for it.
action.
Yeah. So you're still a role-playing game, it's still an RPG, but it's more fast-paced.
Got you.
But it's kind of like music genres. It's like there's a lot of different genres, but I can't tell the difference between the two. Well, I mean, in some I can, but some I can't. There's
Is
rock, alternative rock, there's indie rock. It's like, okay, I don't really know what.
And that's something that I'm starting to learn as an adult. Listen to like video game podcasts, and they always talk about certain types of genres, and I don't, I just grew up playing games, but I didn't realize there's genres, and then there's like certain genres that I had to like. I remember I like forced myself to play Final Fantasy VII. It was hard, and I don't think I played it right the first time, you know. But eventually, like as I played it more and more, I didn't understand the materia very well. I didn't understand how you had to stack materia. I don't know if you ever played Final Fantasy VII. That was my first role playing game, and since then I've been like trying to play different RPGs, and they're all basically everything's RPG now, and most things I play like Fallout,
Yeah.
Skyrim. They're basically RPGs, but I guess like action RPGs, kind of like that. But like I don't know if it categorizes that because it doesn't sound like you said overhead, so it's different. But I don't know. I'm starting to learn them too. But do you know any like what's like your most hated video game? Do you have a hated video game like thing that's notorious for you? A game that you
I
grew up
don't
like I hate this game.
I don't have any hated games. It's just genres. There's genres I don't really get into. I was huge on Final Fantasy VII. Since they had the remake, I freaking love it. How they remade. I don't know if do you know about it? How they remade the whole
Tell me.
game.
I want to
Well,
know. I played the beginning. I have not played the end, but I heard the ending is like so. Basically, it's like they're changing the story of seven. So what's the kicker at the
they're
end?
they're changing it a little bit. I honestly don't totally know where they're going to go with it. So I don't know what they're going to do with
the
it.
kicker at the end of the first game, the first disc of the first game, or
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII's first disc, was that Tifa died, and it was a big fucking deal. Like it changed. Everyone was pissed. It changed the events of the game.
Wait, what?
Final Fantasy VII, the original.
Tifa, the original
dies.
Tifa. When does she gets stabbed at one point?
She dies.
Aerith dies. Aerith dies.
Oh, it's Aerith, the one that gets stabbed by Sephiroth.
Yeah, that's Aerith.
Oh.
She's the other ancient that is that. But she gets slashed, but I don't think she. Well, in the original game, she doesn't die, but she does get cut.
It was one of them that got stabbed that she's like sinks in the water.
That's Aerith. That was Aerith.
Okay. I thought it was Tifa. I'm tripping. But anyways, that was the end of the first disc, and that was supposedly the end of this Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1. There was like another jump, like another drop kick, or what do you call it?
It was a weird
because they were like everyone was expecting it to be Aerith dying again. That was going to be the end of the Part 1, but it turns out it was something else happened, and I guess they're talking about how they're changing the story completely.
The original she dies farther, like pretty farther in the game, in the original game.
And that's what confused me too, because apparently at the end of this remake, you're still not out of Midgar yet. You're still in Midgar.
You're just about to leave it, and then there's a big. I assume you don't care about spoilers.
I don't care.
So this is where I don't totally understand where they're going with it. It ends roughly when the first CD ends, and that's I believe I'm right when I say that the first disc ends when you leave Midgar in the original game. Then
the first disc ends when Aerith dies.
Aerith doesn't die for a long time in the original game. I think it's the third disc. I think there's 4 discs in all. So she doesn't die for a while.
Maybe you're right. I mean, it's second
because it's after you go.
You know what? I think you're right. I think you're right.
Crystal Forest.
You don't get in that ship until like 2. The second
yeah. So it's a while. I believe I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it's when you leave Midgar is when you put in your next disc. The difference that I could tell is at the end of this I think it's called enter whatever. You just pick up Red 13 and then it just about ends. So you don't control Red 13 at all, because I assume you're going to control him in the next. So I'm wondering if in every section you're going to control a new character. Because another part was all you really controlled was the original 3 at a time. You had Cloud, Barrett, Tifa, and sometimes Aerith. But at the end of this one, you have a huge fight with Sephiroth, which in the original game you only saw him in passing up until this point. So that's where I was like, it was an awesome scene, but I was like, okay, I don't know where this is going now. It
Gotcha.
So I don't know what they're.
That's what it was. Then that was the kicker.
So so you have a big old scene with it, like fight scene, and you're like, oh, this is really cool, but yeah, they're. And then there's also you have Yuffie. I haven't finished that part yet, but after you beat the game, you get Yuffie's story, and she actually goes into Midgar. And in the original game, you just kind of come across her, by random.
And there's a way it's a whole speech check you have to get her.
Yeah, you have to.
I remember that
certain answers, certain things.
I used the guide to get her, and someone else too. There was someone else too. I forget. I got them too. Like the two people you had to like do a certain dance just to fucking get them, and I did it on purpose because I was like, I was like reading. I couldn't even beat that game without a guide. That game was hard for me.
It was freaking difficult.
And like the whole chocobo, the whole chocobo morphing, and like the chocobo. I was like trying to make the best chocobo. It was all bad, dude. It was all bad.
See, that is, in my opinion, at least back in the day, those are they're kind of known as Japanese RPGs, and it's because a lot of that stuff is really difficult. And that's why in this new one, I did it on easy, because the thing is, if you go hard, or like, you need to have a certain spells for certain scenarios. Otherwise, you're not going to win. And I'm someone who I just want, maybe when I was younger, I could do it. But now that I'm older, I just want a good story. I want a semi-challenge, but I don't want to be like hitting my head up against the wall either.
I feel you.
So they went the route of, if you go hard, it's going to be freaking hard. Like you're pretty much going to have to go into a boss fight and die. So you kind of know, oh, okay, I need to go and get this spell, because I'm kind of like, I just want to go in, have fun, not be too crazy worried, and just have a good story. And but it just blows my mind how good. Have you ever watched Advent Children?
No.
It is the movie. Do you remember? Have you ever watched X-Play back in the day?
No, what's X-Play? It sounds familiar.
It back in, when I was in junior high or whatever, that was like the game. You would watch it on, I don't know what channel it was on, but you'd watch it on TV, and that's how you knew what games were coming up. Was you had to show dedicated for new games, and they would rate them, they would play them.
No, never heard of this.
But
I've heard of it. I never seen it.
I wonder when it came out. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Final Fantasy.
You gotta tell me, when were you in junior high? What year?
What's that?
Do you remember what year you were in junior high?
Dude, I have no idea. But you're older than I am. How old are you?
I'm 37.
So I'm 33. So 4
years.
4 years.
What year were you born?
89.
4 years.
So, okay.
Your birthday's coming up, huh?
Yeah.
When?
August.
What day?
16.
I have it, so you can lie to me, but I have it. The first podcast. It was literally like the day after. So it's almost been a year. Yeah, since we did our first podcast, it was like your birthday was like in a couple days, and I felt bad because I didn't text you. I was like, dude, when I was editing the episode, it was like the day after. I'm like, fuck. And I saw you at work. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, but happy belated. I think I said that to you. I hope I did.
I think now you mentioned that, I think you did.
Yeah.
Okay, so this came out in 2005, and Final Fantasy VII came out at 1997.
Yep, I remember that specifically.
So 97. So I don't know how many years that is, but when the movie came out, it was a huge deal because up until that point,
you were 7 years. You were 8 years old when Did you play when it first came out? Were you 8 when you played Final Fantasy 7?
I have no idea how old I was. I doubt I played it
Do you
when it
know?
first came
I was
out.
going to ask, do you know for sure if you played it when it first came out?
I
Because
probably
that's
not.
crazy, bro. I remember I was at the
I
fair. I was at the fair of my town, and like the game had already come out, Final Fantasy 7, and I was like, "Fuck, dude!" I was obsessed with like I didn't know anything about it, and I was like, "Dude, there's 7 of them." I was obsessed with like knowing what it is because I was reading it in magazines. People at school were talking about it. I think I was in 7th grade, and then what happened was I went to the fair one year with my family, and this guy had that Final Fantasy 7 shirt, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna have to buy it." And I went and I bought it, and I went and I bought it like as soon as I could with whatever money I saved up and from allowance or whatever, working side jobs. And I bought it and I played that shit. And I remember it was so fucking difficult. Like I
it
never played an
was.
RPG before in my life ever. That was my first RPG, and it turned into like this. Like I I was doing my best to like get past certain parts. I remember that story was great. The whole story was like very very intense. It was a good experience. I enjoyed it.
Well, seeing it was, I think it was 4 discs long. I was kind of like, wait, this is nuts. But so I had my friend through pretty much elementary school. He had a brother who was probably 3 years older than I was, but he had another brother who's probably your age. So whenever I'd go to their house, I would see what games they were playing. And that was a game he was playing, and that's when I got into it. I doubt I doubt it was 8. It was probably when I was 10 or so, but either way, it took me forever, and I had to get guides. I had to because I could not figure that stuff out. It was just
Same.
it's a very unforgiving game. There was no difficulty. It was just, hey, you either get it done or you don't.
Have you ever played the first Zelda?
I played it, but I never beat it.
You never beat it? No, I beat it recently, only because I had a guide, and only because of the rewind feature on Switch.
Here, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
That's
Like
how I
that's
beat
the
Zelda 2.
only way.
Oh, you're right. I did beat it because of the rewind. Because I did that and I did Zelda 2. Zelda 2's
Okay,
on there
dude,
too.
and those games are great. Like you could see what like Tears of the Kingdom and like Breath of the Wild got their inspiration from, because they do a lot of the same kind of like brain busters. I feel like where it's like you wouldn't know to bomb this unless you like there's some places like you have to bomb to find like secrets and stuff, and like you just have to be fucking around with shit. But bombs will cost a lot of money in that game, so it's like just you don't just have frivolous money to be buying bombs, but like there's someone or figured out how to bomb this area, and it gives you the hidden passage. It gives you like this shield for cheaper than at the regular store. You know, it's the same shit as Breath of the Wild, like in the new one, or excuse me, Tears of the Kingdom. Like I paid like $5,000 at Kakariko Village for that fucking stealth outfit, each piece.
Oh, yeah.
I paid 15,000
Oh, because
rupees. I didn't do that side quest yet.
oh no.
Right? So it's like the same
Yeah.
fucking shit. It's the same shit over and over again, recycled, which is great. It's amazing. I love how they're able to do that, but it's kind of frustrating. You know?
Well, I'm glad that these new games. I'm glad that these new games. Some of them are still difficult, but for the most part, they really toned them down because all these new games coming on this, or all these games on the Switch that are from like Sega and stuff. I'm like, dude, Zelda 2 is so hard, and
Yes.
if you're actually gonna go to get more hearts, there I have to go online and look it up because you have to go to this random square in the overworld and the far corner that you never ever would go to anyway. But as you travel there, there's a good chance you'll die, and if you die, you're restarting from the very beginning. There's no
Yes.
save points.
Yes.
It's like if so. I'm like, dude,
Yes.
I would never. You could pay me $1 million. I would never be able to beat that game without the rewind feature. It's
I mean,
so hard.
and that's what something that I don't understand. Like people, like even the original Mario's like that. The original Mario is so fucking
Yeah.
hard. If you had to play it, like if you're like a regular gamer playing it for the first time and you're playing it, you have to play 8 worlds, 4 levels each world, right?
Yeah.
And then they get to figure out how to fucking get enough coins, get enough lives. You're strategizing that way. But if you didn't know about that, you know how you can warp to the last level, the last
I do
world?
know the second level. I do know the second level.
Right.
You can jump up and run. That's
Right.
That takes
Right.
you a lot. Okay, yeah.
So there's one that takes you to the 4th world, and then after you beat the 4th world, a couple levels in, there's another warp that sends you to the 8th world. So like if you didn't know that, like who the fuck is there to tell you that? Who's there to tell you that? Unless you're like even then, like let's say me and you are playing, right? And like we're like young, and when the game just comes out and we're playing, what kid is playing like that? To where like they play so much to where they can fucking I found this. I found this fucking like not me, definitely not
No.
me. It was not me. That's crazy. People can do that shit.
But you know what? I fell in love with. I love 8-bit music.
Yes.
I love the music from that time. I love Mega Man. The Mega Man, like the original Mega Man, the soundtrack, I have on my phone. I freaking love every level. Sounds so freaking good.
And it's just game.
The first game, and the first Mega Man X. So you have Mega Man, the original Mega Man, and then Mega Man X. Dude, that music is so good.
Mega Man X was my shit. That's how I first got introduced to Mega Man. Mega Man X.
And I remember they used to have toys for them, and I used to have a toy, one or two toys, but then it's like you could never find them again, and I wish I still had them because you could nowadays you could find them, but back then it was hard to find toys for like the things you were
action figures.
Yeah,
like plush toys.
No, action figures. I used to love those things.
Yeah.
But no,
Mega Man. Don't even start with that.
No, I freaking loved Mega Man.
Zero is my favorite. I used to love whenever you get to beat him. You ever play Mega Man X3? Oh man.
Oh, recently I have because I think they're on the Switch. I think I
played Mega Man X3 back then.
No, back then I only did Mega Man and then Mega Man X. That's all I ever did.
Wow, dude, the first Mega Man's hard as fuck.
The
second one where it starts to get easier, like they kind of like realize, we kind of made it hard for people, and they kind of like as it progressed, like there's 8. There's 8. I have them all. I bought them all like on a collection on the Switch.
That's what I think I have. Yeah.
Yeah. So like the 8 is like and I think they do 8 and 8 of each. Mega Man and Mega Man X0.
Oh, maybe they do. Yeah.
And then I think it was Mega Man X4 or 5. That's when it went to PlayStation, and it completely changed the graphics and the look of it. I never got into those, but I have them. I should play them. But 1, 2, 3 were 1, 2, 3 Mega Man X 1, 2, 3. I played them when they came out, like on the day I bought them. My dad bought it for me, and I played that shit up and down. Great game.
It gets kind of difficult again because I don't know which number it starts, but it kind of almost turns into a fighting game because you're a bigger character on the screen fighting other bigger characters, and it's harder to dodge stuff. And I was like, so I got to a point where I was like, man, this is like a little more difficult for me.
You mean the later X games?
Yeah, the later
I understand what you're saying.
I think that's when I think I remember playing Zero and he has the sword and he's able slashing people. Yeah,
and the animation changed. Like it was a completely different game studio made that
game.
I believe, and it had a different feel to it, which was crazy. But like Mega Man X, like that game was like, oh my god, that was the beginning of the new wave of Mega Man. Then 2 was okay. X2 was cool. But X3 was when it got really good. Like that game was great. Great game.
There's a point where it starts to become like anime-ish. But I'm gonna try to find. Have you recently seen the Mega Man original artwork?
I have.
It's like a I wish I could. I want to find the exact picture. You could tell it's just like a guy dressed up in like a tight suit, and he's like shooting someone else in another tight suit.
What are you typing in? I'm gonna type it in too. I'm gonna put it on the screen.
Well, I want to find it. If I find it, I'll There's a bunch of images, but I want to find the one that's on the original box.
But it's a real guy. It's like a real life person.
If I remember right, it was Mega Man. Oh, okay. Here, the original.
Okay.
It should show you.
What you mean? Yeah. I've seen this. Yeah.
Now that's not the one I was talking about exactly, but it's close to it. I wish I could still remember.
But there's a real life. I've seen this. I've seen this before. And it's funny how I didn't think about that until you just showed me the picture.
Mega
It's so
Man.
cool.
I wish I could find Mega Man. It was the original NES cartridge. Let's see if I could find cartridge cover. Yes, here.
Send that.
I found it. I found it.
Text. Send that in text.
That's the cartridge I used to have.
Just to
And
have
you see,
that.
they're all three. Okay, it's not real. It's not real people. But you could tell that they're just like. And he has a gun. His arm isn't
It's
even
like
a
generic.
cannon.
Yeah, he has a
Yeah.
gun.
So he's not even shooting with his arm. It's just a gun.
Dude. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's the one I used to have.
Dude.
I wish I still had it.
I gotta figure this out. How do I save this? Okay.
Oh, it's so I guess
No,
it's Mega Man 2. So it says Mega. So I guess I had Mega Man 2. How cool! That's just how it used to be.
That's awesome, dude. Dude, that's so fucking awesome.
Dude, I want to get that on a shirt. I would totally rock that on a shirt.
That would be a good shirt. Oh yeah. Wow, dude. Okay.
With nobody to love, honey.
But yeah, so the shit sandwich lady ended up making a video, and then after that deleted her account. It's fucking crazy, dude. Can you imagine that?
I wonder why. Was she getting a lot of hate?
Found it. Yes, sir.
So update.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
So update. 2-month delayed. Essentially everything backfired. And I didn't even go on TikTok for like a long ass time because some of you were nice. Like, there's a lot of nice people and I like appreciate that. But there was just enough weird shit. And like the whole entire plan backfired. Essentially I couldn't get it tested without me paying for it. I did reach out to a lawyer, and the whole point of me making the TikTok was for Subway to like, help. That never happened. I was never called back. Never got a refund. The manager nothing ever happened, and I got to the point where I just needed to forget. I needed to be able to eat food again. I had to block it out of my mind and avoid TikTok and just hibernate. But y'all seriously, like, it needs to be over. Like, I'm sorry, I can't delete the videos because then I'm gonna have people coming at me being like, oh, she made it up for clout again, which, who wants to be known for this? Number one, that takes a special type of person. Number two, old creepy guys can stop DMing me asking for gross things, please. Like, I even, like, my Instagram's unlinked. Like, you're going out of your way to find me, and I hadn't gone on Facebook in a long time. And then I found a bunch of like old ladies that were like yelling at me. One lady was yelling at me for ruining the reputation of MSU based on these lies for clout, because apparently I posted that to get attention for men to ask me to like eat the like where is people's brain cells? So honestly, like, I want to delete the video. I want to go back to like a private account. Like, people need to stop following me based off this. Like, I used to have like 100 followers, if even, and I could post videos that I wanted to of like me and my friends doing stupid things. Not stupid, but like fun things. And literally people started reporting them. Like, most of my videos that I had posted and actually enjoyed got taken down for a period of time. I had to like fight to get them all back. I got them all back because nothing was wrong with any of them. Like, literally one of them was like people wearing sunglasses in like the trend where you like switch with the photo. I don't even know. Like, why were people reporting my other stupid videos and caring so much about this Subway issue when Subway was just supposed to watch it and respond and be like, hey, let's fix this with you. So anyways, moral of the story, this is not what I want to be known for. Obviously, Subway don't give a shit about the shit. And I just really want to delete the videos just so that I can move on because I am so done. I'm like, literally, one of my professors was like, hey, I saw your TikTok. This is not okay. I'm over it. I'm sorry to disappoint with this update, but please leave me alone. So, anyways, moral of the story: this is not what I want to be known for. Obviously. So
Oh, they're
don't give
doing
a shit.
it's as a repeat. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what to say. You go on your TikTok to make a claim because you want Subway to pay for it, which is what she blatantly said.
Here's the
Then you get
kid, dude.
then you get mad that people have seen it, and she just seems young and doesn't really understand how things work.
Right. Right. Like, what'd you think of social media? Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if she did it for I there's only 100 likes, so she's not like it's not like she's like in the millions. So I don't know how big she got because of it, but she got her 5 minutes of fame, I guess. And I don't know if that's why she did it. But for her to assume Subway's going to just pay for her to get tested, that just makes me make it seem like she is very kind of immature. Because for Subway to pay for anything or say, hey, to say anything would be like not an admission of guilt, but an admission of, hey, maybe we did do something. They're not going to do that, and she doesn't want to pay to get tested herself. How much would it cost? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it would be a lot, but she obviously
if she's innocent, then yeah, she'd pay for it.
yeah. So
I mean, I would assume
Subway did what anyone would do, which is like, I'm not going to say anything. If you have proof, okay, we'll talk to your lawyer. But then her lawyer said, well, you're going to have to get the proof. You can't just say Subway did this or an employee did this. So, and then the weird thing is she's making another TikTok video to ask people to stop following her a few months later. So it's kind of like it comes off as it's been a few months and she's trying to get another semi-viral video before it gets like totally erased from the internet.
she deleted her total TikTok.
But what's this talk? Oh, so after this
one, yeah, she deleted it.
Oh, after she
It's
made it,
not
she
there
deleted
anymore.
it.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh, okay. Okay, in that case, that's more believable. I thought she made a new one and then made this video, and that's why I was like, this doesn't make sense either. But yeah, I would be curious to know what really happened. I mean, there's always that small chance that it really happened, but it just seems like that's not the case.
Right.
I think she got. I don't know. It seems like she faked it, but I'm like, that just seems so weird to fake. So that's where I'm just like, I don't know what to believe. But
yeah, 1 year later.
1 year later, and she did make it pretty clear that she wanted Subway to pay. So it just seems like that's what it came down to. And I can't blame Subway for not saying anything because I wouldn't. You know, why would it? Why would you?
Right.
But only she knows. Only she knows. And we will never know the truth, and we just have to live with the fact that we will never know if there was real shit on that sandwich.
Oh my god.
That's the end of the Netflix documentary, is we will never know.
Oh my gosh. We will never know.
we will never know. We have our conspiracy theories, but we will never know.
Thank you for this.
Oh, no problem. It was fun.
I appreciate you. It's been very fun. I appreciate you. Take care of yourself. I'll see you soon.